an open-source audiobook presentation, as transcribed and edited in the Imperial Library and the Unofficial Elder Scrolls Pages. Brief History of the Empire, Part 1, by Stronach III, Imperial Historian. Part 1 of a description of events in the history of the Empire. Before the day of Tiber Septim, all Tamriel was chaos. The poet Tresisis called that era the days and nights of blood and venom. The kings were a petty lot of grasping tyrants who fought Tiber's attempts to bring order to the land, but they were as disorganized as they were dissolute, and the strong hand of Septim brought peace forcibly to Tamriel. The year was 896 of the Second Era. The following year, the Emperor declared the beginning of a new era, so we began the Third Era, year aught. For 38 years, the Emperor Tiber reigned, a just, pious, and glorious age when justice was known to one and all, from serf to king. It reigned for a fortnight after as if the land of Tamriel itself was weeping. The Emperor's eldest living son, Pelagius, came to the throne. Though his reign was short, he was as strong and resolute as his father had been, and we could have enjoyed a continuation of the Golden Age. Alas, an unknown enemy of the Septims hired the cursed organization of cutthroats, the Dark Brotherhood, to kill the Emperor Pelagius I, as he knelt at prayer at the Temple of the One in the Imperial City. Pelagius I's reign lasted less than 3 years. Pelagius had no living children, so the crown of the empire passed to his first cousin, the daughter of Tiber's brother, Agnoreth. So did Kintyra, former queen of Silvanar, assume the throne. Kintyra I was blessed with a time of prosperity and good harvests, and was an avid patroness of art, music, and dance. Kintyra's son was crowned after her death, and the first emperor of Tamriel to use the imperial name Uriel. The Emperor Uriel I was the great lawmaker of the Septim dynasty and a promoter of independent organizations and guilds. Under his kind hand, the Fighters' Guild and the Mages' Guild increased in prominence throughout Tamriel. His son Uriel II reigned for 18 years, from the death Uriel I in 64 of the Third Era to 82 of the Third Era. Tragically, the rule of Uriel II was cursed with blights, plagues, and insurrections. His tender-heartedness, inherited from his father, did not serve Tamriel well, and little justice was done. Pelagius II inherited not only the throne from his father, but the debt from the poor financial and judicial management. Pelagius dismissed all of the old Elder Council and allowed only those willing to pay great sums to return. He encouraged similar acts of his vassals, the kings of Tamriel, and by the end of his 17-year reign, Tamriel had returned to prosperity. His critics, however, have suggested that any advisor of wisdom, but without gold, had been forcibly ousted. This may have led to some of the trouble his son Antiochus faced when he became emperor. Antiochus was certainly one of the most flamboyant of the usually austere Septim family. He had many mistresses and nearly as many wives, and was renowned for his grandness of dress and good humor. Unfortunately, his reign was rife with civil wars, surpassing even that of his grandfather Uriel II. The War of the Isle, in 110 of the Third Era, 12 years after Antiochus assumed the throne, nearly took the province of Somerset Isle away from Tamriel. The united alliance of the kings of Somerset and Antiochus only managed to defeat King Orgnum of the island kingdom of Piandonia due to a freak storm. Legend credits the Sigic order of the Isle of Artaeum with the magic behind the storm. The story of Kintyre II, heiress of her father's throne, is certainly one of the saddest tales in modern history. Her first cousin Uriel, son of Queen Potenna of Solitude, accused Kintyre of being a bastard, alluding to the famous decadence of the imperial city during her father's reign. When this accusation failed to stop her coronation, Uriel bought the support of several disgruntled kings of High Rock, Skyrim, and Morrowind, and with Queen Potenna's assistance, coordinated 3 attacks on the Septim Empire. The first attack occurred in the Iliac Bay that separates High Rock and Hammerfell. Kintyre's entourage was destroyed, and the Empress was taken captive. For 2 years, Kintyre II languished in an imperial prison believed to be somewhere in Glenpoint or Glenmorlweird before she was slain in her cell. The second attack was on a series of imperial garrisons along the coastal Morrowind Islands. The Emperor's consort, Contan Erinx, died defending the forts. The third attack was a siege of the imperial city itself, occurring after the Elder Council had divided the army to attack western High Rock and eastern Morrowind. The much weakened government had little defense against Uriel's attack, and surrendered after only a fortnight of resistance. Uriel took the throne that night and proclaimed himself Uriel III, Emperor of Tamriel. The year was 121 of the Third Era. Thus begins the War of the Red Diamond, described in Volume 2 of this series. This audiobook is part of the Daggerfall Collection. For other features in this anthology, visit the Red Library.